Welcome to the Planet Blessed presentation on Mindful Earthisms here in the Love, Peace, Unity, and Earth StewardHeirShip Convergence Room, sponsored by the wonderful World Unity Week platform. Welcome to my co-author, co-founder of Planet Blessed, Leslie Riopel. What words of wisdom and welcome would you like to share with our audience today?
I would just like to welcome everyone to this wonderful event and this amazing week of unity and love and connection. And we're happy to share whatever we can share to help raise the consciousness of the planet and of the people. So that's what we're all about.
Yeah, somewhere we do have a mission statement at one of the websites that says that our primary focus is personal and planetary sustainability in all areas of life. And certainly here on Climate Day, according to World Unity Week, certainly an appropriate time to share what has evolved out of mindful blessisms from Planet Bless into Earthisms. So Leslie, how about starting us off a little bit of either background or just go into a sample Earthism? What would you like to share?
Yeah, I think I'd like to share this Earthism for being kind to Mother Earth.
Awesome.
And I would say, if you want to close your eyes, you can reflect on the words and just think of it as a little prayer to the earth. So this is the Earthism for being kind to Mother Earth with a beautiful Madeline Tuttle image behind it, a wonderful, beautiful artist. And we'll go from there. So I bless the earth and send her love, kindness, and compassion. I praise Mother Earth for her extraordinary beauty. May I always remember to be kind to Mother Earth. I am eternally grateful for everything the earth provides and for giving me what I need to survive and thrive. Thank you for your love and compassion, even though as humans, we may have caused you harm in so many ways. I bless the earth and the planet's natural resources. May you forgive us for any damage we may have done. I make a pact to always honor the earth for everything you do for us day in and day out. I honor the earth as my sacred mother. I vow to treat her with honor and respect. I vow to honor the interconnectedness of all things and all forms of life. I thank the earth for providing me with nourishment, oxygen, energy, and gravity. I thank Mother Earth each day for the love and sustenance she brings me. What an honor it is to be part of those things you so lovingly provide. Thank you.
Oh, wow. Well, people might want to ask, well, what is an Earthism? Where did it come from? And what does it do? So you want to talk briefly about blessisms, and then we'll talk about how that evolved into the Earthisms?
Yeah, I mean, blessisms really started with, Charles and I trying to find out what we can do to help people thrive with all these challenges going on in the world. And, how can we make something positive out of, the coronavirus pandemic at the time? And we were just so inspired to help make the world a better place that we decided to create the Bless the Mess Journal. Yeah. And it began with 53 mindfulness exercises, to help people, along with a beautiful affirmation with each one. And we just thought that was a great way to help people kind of bless the mess. And then that evolved into the blessisms in a dozen different categories in 6 different areas of well-being. And that is what we're sharing with our daily blessism campaign. And we're just doing that out of the goodness of our heart. We're not sponsored by any big company. It's just the 2 of us. And we're happy to, be steward heirs of this beautiful earth and to be here to lift people up. And so Charles then came up with the Earthism as a way to love, bless, and honor the earth. And I'll let you talk about how the Earthism kind of came about.
Certainly. And the inner step was that we started playing with those. Excuse me. The interim step was we started playing with those mindful exercises and the affirmations and experimented with card decks. And the card decks led to the booklet. And the booklet was the Ultimate Mindful Survival Crap Guide for managing crap in your life. And crap was the acronym for coping more resourcefully with aggravating and annoying people, places, problems. Do we ever have any of those, like being stuck in traffic? So when it got time to think about April and Earth Day and the annual calendar, we thought, okay, let's come up with some Earthisms. And the first one that Leslie came up with was for the air. And it was at a time when I'd been invited to work with John B. Cobb Jr., oh my God, who's 97 years old, has written over 50 books, including the 50th anniversary of Is It Too Late? The Theology of Ecology, where he began sounding the climate change alarm 50 years ago before Al Gore, before climate change was in the common language. Then he wrote The Earthist Challenge to Economism. This was a theological critique of the World Bank, but there was a chapter 10 on Earthism. John is credited with coining the word Earthism, and to celebrate his 97th birthday in January, we established the Living Earth movement based on his legacy works. And so as we were thinking about Earthisms and got John's permission to use that term, we got John's gracious permission to republish and repurpose that entire chapter on Earthism, it led to the concept of even modeling what John Randolph Price did a few years ago with the Earthism Commission. It was a simple one-page pledge that you would fill out, send into the Cordis Foundation, and hundreds of thousands of people did that. He published it in a book called The Planetary Commission. There was a page that said, tear out this page, fill it out, sign the pledge, and mail it to this address. So we're thinking about doing something like creating a Earthist challenge to humankind, an invitation to practice Earthism while it's not too late for ecological civilization. So I have a little mock-up cover about that. And when we get into a PowerPoint, we'll touch upon that as an opportunity for future participation. But it all began with the Earthisms. So let's take a look. You want to look at another Earthism or go into the Earthism website or start with the PowerPoint? It's up to you, Leslie. This is a
let's see.
What do you think is the next best way to segue into where we want to go? Share.
I think we can share a brief overview of all the Earthisms.
Okay.
Just to give people a chance to see them all.
Okay.
We don't certainly have to, not going to read them all, but this is just a great example. Can you see that?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah, just an example of some of the different Earthisms for the biosphere, conservation and climate change, the environment, even fauna and flora, detoxification, anywhere from islands to the hydrosphere, which provides all the water, and the glaciers and the jet stream. And it's just such a lovely way to honor the earth, and even Earthism for regeneration and peace on earth. You know, it's such a neat way to just create a movement on how many ways can we bless the earth. And we haven't even scratched the surface. There's probably hundreds more we could create, from trees to, you know, just about anything, to grass that you could think of as a way to honor the earth. So we just kind of, Charles and I overdo everything. We take something and we just go crazy. I know I do that. He may not be as crazy as me, but I don't know, just kind of got carried away with this. And we just love the concept so much. We created, 30 of them for every day in April. And, it's been really fun.
It's been a rich opportunity. And when we started with Blessisms, it was, we were playing with a title of Blessisms from A to Z, or A to Zen. So every Blessism, the Blessisms every month follow the letters of the alphabet. And then when we get up to the end of the alphabet, there are bonuses. So like the first Earthism was air for A, and the second Blessism was biosphere for B. And now that we've decided to not just offer those in April, but to repurpose those every day, air, the Earthism for air is for the first day of the month. The Earthism for biosphere is the second day of the month. So that's how we will continue to make those resources available. And our European partner, Michelle Bays in Spain, has created a website to help us further introduce the newsletter we published and each of the Earthisms. So scroll down a little bit to this, and then we'll go to the Earthism for the day. So there's this beautiful PowerPoint, 2 or 3 or 4 minutes on how they evolved, the evolution of them, the presentation we did with John B. Cobb on Earth Day, where he came in and shared some of his perspectives and definition of Earthism and definition of ecological civilization. And the PowerPoint will talk a little bit more about becoming an Earthist. We have our theme song, Earth, by the amazing David Roth. I've shared this for decades. To me, every major challenge we face individually and as a society, and some very significant positive solutions are included in that song. Scroll down a little bit. I think that's pretty far we need to go. There's the cover, the mock-up cover of the book that we're proposing that we'll add among the 21 to 101 other pending publications we have in various stages of development. But that's the title, An Earthist Challenge to Humankind, playing on the title, The Earthist Challenge to Economism, and the invitation to practice the Earthism Commission, which is how we're modeling the award-winning John Randolph Prize Planetary Commission. And while it's not too late, playing on the 50th anniversary of one of John Cobb's best-selling books. So let's go back up and look at some of the Earthisms. An example of a page is a page for 30 of the Earthisms. So if we'll pick on one and scroll down, I think you need to pick on one. Just go down. You're going good.
Oh, okay. I didn't go far enough. Okay.
So let's pick one of the ones that you highlighted. Let's go with Unconditionally Loving Planet Earth or Bucky Fuller. Let's go to the right, Unconditionally Loving Earth or Bucky Fuller. I mean, we've become deeply affiliated with the Love Foundation, which for over 22 years has been facilitating unconditional love. And so it was up near to the top.
Here's the Bucky Fuller one.
Okay, well, we got a Bucky Fuller because the mission is about betterment for 100% humanity. And if you watch the Earthism videos, 1.5 minutes usually that Leslie's created, they usually will begin and or end with Bucky Fuller quote. But here's an example of the page for every Earthism. It's got the daily quote. It's got an image from Harold Becker of the Love Foundation that we included in our newsletter. It's got a Bucky Fuller quote here. We've got the combination of the image and the text that Leslie created in the Earthism. Then if you go a little bit further down, we have every Earthism and Blessism includes a daily journal prompt to meditation prompt. And in this case, Michelle has taken the language of the Earthism journal prompt that we selected for that day and put it over the background image for the Earthism. So that's the example here. Scroll down a little bit further. Then the 1.5 minute video that Leslie's created for each of the Earthisms, and for each of the Blessisms, it's a little over 3 minutes. Then we go down a little bit more with the opportunity to become a subscriber and access the newsletter. So the essence of what you just saw as we scan through that one page for that one Earthism of the 30 that are on the website, Leslie had to create a 31st when we got into June, May and June and July, and decided to continue doing an Earthism every day in our Blessism newsletter. So it's pretty exhaustive, comprehensive beginning to introducing the world of Earthisms. And here we have Carol Sue trying to get in. Let me go see if I can help her. Leslie, if you want to bring
I'm in.
All right, there you are. Where have you been, sister? How can we?
Well, I just explained it. I just explained it because I sent you an email. The problem was when you go to the Facebook, it doesn't say the Zoom. You have to push more.
Oh, yeah.
And so in writing to you, I said, well, I remember yesterday it directed me to a Zoom. Yeah. So, I needed that thought process. And so then I went back to the Facebook, I pushed the more and there was the Zoom. So I just explained that whole thing because I was trying to get in since 11:55.
Well, my goodness. Well, we
Oh.
missed you, but we're glad you're here. You're always perfectly on time.
Thank you.
I
It just goes to show you, they don't call me Badger for nothing. I didn't give up.
Well, this is being
You're a breath
recorded.
of fresh air.
Yeah, this is
Thank
being
you.
recorded, so I won't share my nickname since childhood. But
Oh, what is your nickname? Come on.
No, honey, not a.
Put
Well,
it in the chat.
well, Leslie Calvin Brown, about the 6th or 7th major event I produced with him, and a standing room only convention center started calling me to sign up and pay for the subscription to find out the answer. Okay, so what we've done, were you able to hear what we've done so far?
Oh, here, I'll turn off my rooster.
Well, that's good. Okay, so I'm going to go back to speaker view. And I don't know why you're there, because do you have your hand up? I'll go back to gallery view since it's just the three of us. We covered the background of blessisms, which you heard yesterday, and you're one of our fabulous, many beloved subscribers. We went the story of how that evolved or morphed into Earthisms, how that's led into the relationship or the extended relationship with John B. Cobb and participational living Earth movement, and how we're preparing to launch the Earthist Community Action Network, and to model what John Randolph Price, the author of the 40-Day Prosperity Plan, did with the Planetary Commission, which led to World Healing Day, which is still celebrated around the world. So Leslie was going to bring up the PowerPoint. Maybe that's a good thing to do next, if you want to bring that up. Glad to have you with us, Carol Sue, and you're actually in as Carol Sue today instead of Angel here. Okay, so here we're not going to spend a lot of time on this, but we do want to go through it because we're inviting sponsorships and participants in preparing to launch a crowdfunding campaign. So this is part of the demonstration of the significance and substance that we already have available and are offering every day for free. Okay, Leslie, rock and roll.
Yeah, this is just a brief preview of John B. Cobb and some of the wonderful books he's created. And again, he coined the term Earthism. So we praise and honor him for all of his amazing contributions to the planet and to the world.
Yeah, he's my new mentor. 97, launching a new enterprise.
It's impressive, yeah.
Another 20, 25 years.
And this, we don't need to go through all this, but this is just kind of, we've been on a journey since, 2020. And even before then, Charles and I've been writing together for years. And so this is all morphed, from the pandemic to Bless the Mess to the PTSD guide to all these projects that are kind of swirling around us at any given time. And we're waiting to see what the divine design is going to reveal for what our next step is with this.
Back up a minute. I mean, I love that slide. I mean, the history, the present, the future. I mean, that certainly leads into the fact that we have a 12-year master service plan that will lead to sponsorships, crowdfunding, grants, donations, equity play. It's just a beautiful overview, really colorful too, and we don't really have any design.
It is colorful, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good. I'm glad I tuned in for this show. Go ahead.
And this is just kind of, we were looking for ways to celebrate Earth Day all year long by sharing the Earthisms to love, bless, and honor Mother Earth.
And we do.
And this, I mean, you probably know what Earthisms are, but it's just creating a more conscious and sustainable way of living, which is balance and harmony with all of life and preserving and restoring the health of the earth, which is just so important. And
this slide and the next one and a couple of others are actually quotes out of John Cobb's book on Earth, the book on the Earthist Challenge, most of them from the chapter on Earthism that we're building upon as we move forward with all these initiatives. But
yeah, just reiterating oneness and unity with all living things, to the beautiful creatures like the horses and cats, which are my preference, and dogs, and just everything. And even the lovely birds that you might feed every day.
And this ties into the program that we're sponsoring tomorrow with Will Tuttle, author of The World Peace Diet and co-founder of the nonprofit Circle of Compassion about animal rights that I was blessed to help him and his beautiful wife, Madeline Tuttle, establish several years ago.
Yeah,
And
that's
there's
just
the
so
rooster. The
important.
rooster even
Yeah.
likes it. In fact, Will has a CD that's all about animals. You know, he's an improv pianist, and it's animals, the chickens and the hogs, and I mean, it's just fabulous. It's one of my favorite mini Will Tuttle CDs. Go ahead.
Yeah, I've got a
Am I
rooster
allowed to
that
ask
lives.
questions, or are you trying to tape this for a
Let's go
presentation?
through this, and then we'll come back to questions since you're our special guest today. Thank you.
Yeah,
for
and again, this is also about sustainable development. What can we do, about that? And this is my favorite Bucky Fuller quote. If you want to teach people a new way of thinking, don't bother trying to teach them. Give them a tool that will lead to new ways of thinking.
So are you referring to Earthisms there? I mean, is that the subtle suggestion?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay, just checking.
And then this is just, they've organically evolved from the 365 mindful blessisms. And again, from John B. Cobb and the legacy works of Bucky Fuller.
Yeah.
And so this is just a few examples. Earthism for loving Mother Earth, for ecological civilization, and, honoring and protecting life on planet Earth. Taking responsibility for, caring for your little corner of the Earth. And again, becoming an Earthist, and making small or big changes. Everything counts.
Wait, back up a minute. I really love that. That's the first time I've actually seen the new version. That instead of being a definition of what an Earthist is, it's the invitation to become an Earthist. And that, what is that? That's one who practices Earthism simply by loving, honoring, and protecting planet Earth with respect, gratitude, and appreciation for all living things. I mean, there it is. And the question, what small or big thing can you do to make the world a better place every day? The blessisms and the Earthisms are part of our offerings from Planet Bless to help make it easier for people to remember that and to practice that. Thank you, Leslie. Go ahead.
Yeah, and we even created one for Bucky Fuller because his work is so important, everything that he, added to the world. That's pretty much.
Well, let's back up just a minute, because here are some of the future opportunities for engagement. And this is about that's why in our World Unity Week, we call our room Love, Peace, Unity, and spell it YOU, because it's about participation in the Earthist Community Action Network we talked about, help develop the Earthism Commission based on John Randolph Price's Planetary Commission. That'll provide several aspects of a pledge to help love, bless, honor, protect our shared home, planet Earth, that Bucky referred to as Spaceship Earth, and all life blessed to be here. So those are the opportunities. That's why we're sharing this information here, and we're inviting you to share the resources that you have, that you've produced, that you've published, or that you recommend. So Leslie, please continue.
Yeah, that's pretty much the end here. Just, also the definition of a blessivist, someone who just wants to transform those painful lessons into something greater, a possibility and a blessing.
And back up, sorry. This is a co-created process, and 3 of our primary websites are listed there. The Earthism.space is where we've walked you through the example of the Earthisms. MindfullyBlessed.com is where Leslie produces and shares the daily mindful blessisms every day, and planetbless.org is the earlier website that has beautiful overview of all that we've shared with you and where we're evolving as we move forward.
And this is just an example of the year-long campaign. We're in June, which is Journey of Healing. Next month is about self-love, confidence, and body love. Then we get into abundance. Sacred September, we're looking at your ultimate destiny blessisms. And then obstacles into opportunities, and progressively failing your way to success. And then December, more about spirituality and creative power. So that's pretty much
Pretty
Make
much.
it so, as
But yes,
Captain Picard so
yeah.
eloquently says.
Yeah. Make it so. So that's the bond. Well, thank you for sharing that. I mean, that really is a powerful overview and just the beginning. It's what do they say at the beginning of Star Trek? It's where we go where no human has gone
Right.
before. So that's kind of where we're creating.
Yeah.
Okay, Carol Sue, we're ready for your outstanding, mind-boggling suite of questions that I think you come up with in the middle of the night.
Well, in looking at that, I was wondering if in the Earthisms, are they including sound? Because the sounds that we are putting out in the atmosphere now are horrendous. The sonar, anything over 90 decibels.
It's a good point.
This has been my thing, as you know, since 1971. This has been my issue. And are we doing enough about sound pollution?
Well, probably not. And we honored that you joined us for the Earth Day celebration with John V. Cobb Jr., and you raised that same observation. So I invite you, I don't know if you heard us as we were closing out that PowerPoint, but I was saying this time for you, the audience, to share your creative genius, your brilliant insights. So how may we support you in helping raise that the awareness of the cause? It's such a valuable cause.
Well, that's a really good idea.
I think so too. Let's do
Yeah.
one tomorrow for World Unity Week, as soon as you have it ready. No, I'm joking. I'm already.
Yeah, that's
But it could be done if you have a 25 or 55-minute presentation you could make. I could probably find a slot for you tomorrow in our convergence room. You think about
really
that.
well. I'll have to work on that. Like I have nothing else to do.
Yeah, right. I know. You make me feel like a slug when I see the stuff that you're up to.
I agree with you that noise is extremely disheartening. There's just noise everywhere, and people are afraid to be calm and quiet. I think a lot of people that don't meditate or go within, they don't know what to do with the quiet moments. And all of us are probably, avid believers that the quiet is the most creative space that you can be in. I go to the grocery store and I'm so nervous from the music being too loud. I don't even want to stay there long. It's like they pump it in way too loud. It's like, do we need all this noise? It's so disruptive to my energy that you go somewhere and there's just too much noise.
Well, it's worse than that, Leslie. It's the music that they play now, all of it. The standard for the whole world now is 440 hertz, which is the hertz that was instigated through the CIA and Hitler. And to control people, make them agitated so they would, and for mind control. And now it's the standard for the whole world. So anything you turn on, if it's not an LP from Bach and Beethoven and that era,
right,
is going to, because even the digital is missing a decibel, it's missing something at the top. So even though we can't hear it, it's an irritant to us and we don't know.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. And so maybe I do have enough information I could share.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like, here's the thing, it's a short time frame for World Unity Week, but most of the people are going to be experiencing the programs. There are hundreds of programs offered in 22 convergence rooms. We're just one, plus the plenary sessions. So they'll be watching the replays, the recorded presentation. But you reminded me, one of my favorite Thoreau quotes is, I never met a companion as companionable as the silence. And I personally need to live in sacred sanctuary space. I'm next to a forest sanctuary, less than half a block away from one of the cleanest rivers. And sound is very disturbing to me. It's like I love living in Sedona because there were no snow blowers or lawn mowers or leaf blowers, right?
Yeah.
Of course, there was no green either. So it's kind of a trade-off.
Well, just the other day, the one thing they don't mow lawns here for the most part. They use weed eaters for large, like the whole grass, which is just really odd. So the other day I was meditating in my hammock and the weed eater was going the whole time. But I got to a place in my meditation where I heard no sound.
That's really impressive. I'm
Yeah.
totally impressed with that.
And see, I wear, I wear a mask. I don't believe in masks, by the way. I'm really against the masks. And but I always have one on because it was law for a while. I know someone in prison right now because they weren't wearing their mask.
Really? Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
and they were charging it. First, they were charging $2,500 US if you were caught without your mask, and then it went down like to 250 because
Oh my goodness.
that much. And now the mandates are off, but I keep my mask on because I don't use it as a mask. It's an eye mask.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
So that's
By the way,
so
for any
for
viewers, or
meditation.
listeners- for any viewers or listeners, it's not the U.S. that puts someone in prison. She's in Belize, right?
Oh, okay.
Good point.
Yeah.
That
No,
makes sense.
but we need to watch what's going on in Canada right now because US is watching what's happening in Canada and they are censoring. They're making censorship legal as we speak.
Wow.
Well, you know, it's like being with you is like our Earthisms and Blessisms are from A to Z. It's like you never know whether you're going to get an up or a downer or what was the thing that you shared with us yesterday about the root chakra and orgasm? Oh, and I want to share with you.
Orgasm lady, yes,
and
that's my new brand.
That I went to the first major training program that Robert Allen did for internet marketing.
I've been to Robert
One
Allen.
of his exercises, we all were given sticky pads and people shared their title for their forthcoming book. And people, if you loved what the title that people suggested, you'd put a sticky pad on them. There was one lady there head to toe covered in sticky, even in her hair. Guess what the title of her book was? One word.
Orgasm?
Orgasm?
Heartgasm. It was about having a heartgasm, which led to love, which led to intimacy, which led to sex. But I mean, she was just a superstar. She passed away not too long.
I love that. Hey, and is it past 17 years I can use it?
I think you should write that book. I'm seeing you writing that.
Heartgasm. I'm writing it here.
Yep.
Heartgasm.
But you could use lovegasm, sexgasm. Get on your domain platform and see what you can come up with. And we only need a donation.
Because my platform has become orgasmic and then become multi-orgasmic. And I have a bunch of those. I have a bunch of URLs that I've already purchased. Yeah. And then I will funnel it all to become orgasmic.
Yeah, cool. Yeah.
And then, but I was going to mention about CRAP, because yesterday when you mentioned CRAP and the acronym for CRAP, and my company has been since 1980, the cream of the crop. But when I had a vintage store, I was considering calling it cream of the crap.
Wow.
I like that.
Yeah, we danced around whether to use the word or not. And we just felt like, we highlighted on the booklet and wherever we use it, the capital letters and the periods to indicate that it's an acronym. But my children loved it. And the response has also been true, especially when we tell the story about coping resourcefully with aggravating and annoying people, places like the DMV or stuck in freaking traffic or the health provider's office to find out if you got COVID, It's like, so that we repurposed it a little bit for a presentation that we have not yet actually decided to do for World Unity Week for creating resourcefully. Somehow we tied it into peace on planet Earth. But thanks for sharing that. That's funny. The cream of the crop. Okay, well, it's about 1:47. We're not under any obligation to go on, or we can. You have any more brilliant questions? Here, I've got one for you, Carol Sue. If you turn off your virtual background, what would we see? Because you keep jumping in and out.
Right now, let's see, blur, let's see, choose filter. I think I can do none.
Can you just kill the virtual?
That's what I'm doing now.
Okay.
Because I didn't know how to do this before. And I think I do that. That didn't do it. How do I
think it's a profile setting.
Well, I'm in there and I've done none, which means it should go back to, but then how do I apply? I'm looking for the thing to apply it.
I don't
So let me
know.
see if
Might
I
also
close it.
be-
Does that apply it? That didn't apply it.
I don't know. Might
try
also be
again.
under the video setting. Sometimes it comes
Well, I
up. with
have
the-
it. Blur my background, choose a virtual background.
I think you got to choose virtual background, then pick none.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah. There
well,
you go.
That usually turns it right off for me
yeah,
anyway.
that's what I'm doing. There we go. Now I'll pick none. And
All
now,
right.
there we go.
Well, that's a different
So-
view of your home.
Well, yeah, and that's because I got rained out of my office
Oh,
because,
no.
yeah,
Ah.
and so I had to move it all into my living room. And I'm moving from another place, so I still have junk in the hall. Yeah, but this is actually a mirror above, and this is actually a wall. But if you can see in there's a window there.
Yeah.
I can, whoops. There's a window. See the louvers?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
But see, if you could see this way, if you know, because I've got my big computer instead of my phone right now. So every time I turn it around, everything's falling off. But
Yeah.
this way, you actually see the view of the Caribbean and the
Yeah.
trees.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
That's my view.
Yeah.
So that I much rather
Nice.
look at the view than give you guys the view.
Yeah, well, you see how
Absolutely.
you are? So
Yeah,
soft.
it's gorgeous, you know, because there are palm trees that go out over the sea, and the sea goes, oh, you can see it all the way to the horizon. And
Oh
it's
my
like-
gosh.
It's like
Nice.
glass right now because there's no wind. And then there's an avocado tree there. There's an avocado tree growing through my office. And I just went to the right next door is an Indian restaurant. So I have to walk up their stairs and I get to look at my roof. And I could see the tree growing up out of the roof, and the avocados
Oh, wow.
are starting to get this big on it. And pretty soon they're going to be this big.
Oh,
And then so I have two avocado trees, one that's going through the roof and the other one, and a lime tree. And I have iguanas that jump down out of the tree onto the roof and go boom,
wow.
Oh my gosh.
boom. I have a
Well-
whole ecosystem. Like you guys are talking about birds. I was listening to the birds walk on my roof. And then and I call this bird TV because I look out and I see the birds. And then the iguana, when it goes over the skylight, there's a skylight right up there. And I can see the belly of the iguana.
Oh my
And-
gosh.
And its tail it's so big that its tail alone takes up the whole skylight as it's walking across. And then when it goes over there, it'll go to the corner, jump into the lime tree. And I've caught it jumping in the lime tree on video and down to the ground. And then it walks out to the sea. And then sometimes it'll go out to the very edge of the pier. Well, when it's on the edge of the pier and I'm walking out to the pier to go swimming, it's trapped. So it'll jump in the water.
Well,
Interesting.
here's a question
Yeah.
for you. Are you
Yeah.
willing at some point in time for the three of us to have another session and have you share your testimonial or whatever you would want to share about the blessisms? You know, you're one of our most
Oh, yes.
faithful subscribers. I assume you're one of the ones that actually reads them. And
Read it.
practices
Yes.
every time.
And I had an interesting experience just today because I read it just before I came on, since I was trying to get on and I couldn't. And I read it and I thought, okay, so I read the first one, then I read the second one, and I went, didn't I just read this? And I realized that it's twice, so that you read it twice. Is that right?
Well, one is the text against the image, and then we provided just the text, which people can change the size and make it easier to read if they want to. So yeah, it's
Well,
spaced
but the
repetition.
funny thing is how unobservant I am. I really say I'm not very observant. But it's the first time I noticed that it was twice.
Well, good, it's working.
Well, and what I thought was, and I had a thought process about it. And I thought, well, this is pretty cool, actually, because it's good to embed it and do it twice. It's more like a meditation. And had I not been trying to get on here, I would have gone into a meditation.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
it was nice.
Yeah, that's good. That's
appreciate
why,
it. I appreciate you every time I get it, Charles.
well, we appreciate being appreciated because
And now I appreciate you too, Leslie.
Oh, you too. I
Well,
appreciate you're a breath of fresh air.
yeah.
Thank
You're
you.
just so light and beautiful and
Oh, you guys
just,
froze.
yeah, creative. I love it.
And Michelle, again, he's one of my partners. He co-founded the Gaia Soul Alliance that I am now co-facilitates.
Now, well, who was the first name? Because my screen froze for a minute and I didn't catch that.
Michel Bays is his name. He's Belgian, living in Spain. I met him when I sold him a structured water device when he was building a house in Thailand. But he's an SEO expert. And so if you saw how we walked through the Earthism.space site that he's created with a separate page for each Earthism, he's taken the background image independent from the text that Leslie's created as the Earthism, taken the journal prompt that she selected for that day, pulled it out of that background image, provided that, pulled in the meme for the day for that quote from the Love Foundation, and made them all available. It's like SEO can't pick up the text and an image, which is something that he's an expert at, which is why he started helping us break the parts, let people see the individual pieces, and then they're all brought together in the masterpiece that Leslie creates every day for a Blessism and an Earthism. So it's almost time, 1:55. So we need to allow 5 times to log into Shannon's presentation. That's
right. And so my question is, do you have a way of moving that the Zoom up so people see it without going to the more? Because otherwise a lot of people miss it. That might be why
Facebook and Facebook Live, not live, the Facebook events, I can't control what they do. I know that's kind of crazy because the essence of the description is hidden and see more.
Well, right, but if you write the description, you can put it closer up to the top so that it doesn't hit them below the more.
I have tried to do that on ours. Thank you, Coach, and thank you for being here. You're our favorite guest. And ladies and gentlemen, the winner of Participant of the Day award goes to Carol Sue Angel.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, all. Thank you, Leslie.
All right.
Great presentation.
I love you guys.
All right. Love you too.
Get ready. We're coming to visit.
And be good. And be careful. Every time I tell someone I love them, they think I'm proposing.
Well, we know that you're proposing that we also become Earthists and Blessism and sexologists or something like that.
And to come to beliefs.
Yeah, there you go. All right.
Universal love. All right.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.